Got a Sagittarius. Welcome to Navajo Sage Weaver Tarot's channel. This reading is for you today. I am going to do your reading. I've already pulled and pre-shuffled your cards and laid out the story of the tarot. I've used and combined it for different decks. And also we're going to get some messages from the Wisdom of Elder and the Divine Feather deck there and see what other messages Spirit wants us to know and to be part of the story. And so this may resonate with you. It may not. It's okay. And also don't force any readings. Um, and maybe you'll resonate with half, however it is. If you resonate with it, and then you um, resonate with some of it, just leave whatever, for somebody else. Um, and anything, if you want to know what the decks I use will be down in the description box. And so we're going to get beginning with your reading, Sagittarius. We're going to shake the gourd and move any stagnation energy. All right. Just gonna give this a shuffle. Oops. Split the deck. Uh, 14, Grandfather, Son, Sacred Fire, Gratitude. Bottom of the deck. 25, Tobacco, Secret Medicine. Reciprocation. And right. Flicker. New rhythms are coming into your life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. Right? Let's see what the message is for going to read from the book. 14, Grandfather, Son, Sacred Fire, Gratitude. Fire sacred to all creation because it is recognized as a living being. It exists in four different spiritual forms. The first of which is the sun. Our sun radiates lights and heats, making it possible for life to exist here on Earth. We acknowledge and show gratitude to the power of Grandfather Sun, for without it, life would not exist. The sun is the center of the solar system, and it exerts gravity, which allows the planets that resides here to orbit around the sun. It creates four seasons we experience here on Earth, and similar, those four separate phases are also symbolic of these seasons we move through in life. When the star reaches the end to its life cycle, it is repel material into space, and through this transition life is formed. We are all made from this material, and we are all part of that sacred light that created us. By expressing gratitude, we can engage in the memory of who we are. We are all light beings, and we were all formed from Stardust. The Grandfather Son Sacred Fire card takes Take time to stand in the sunlight and offer thanks. It is by living in a state of gratitude that we not only connect to our higher selves, but to our own sacred divinity. Take this day as an opportunity to reconnect. Be grateful for all that you have experienced and remind yourself that we are all the same source and light. 25. Tobacco, sacred medicine, reciprocation. Tobacco is found in the east direction of the medicine wheel and was the first sacred medicine given to the indigenous people. It has connection to the east, where the sun rises earliest each day. Its symbol of being the first medicine utilized by the inhabitants of the Turtle Island. And it also highlights its great importance. The deeply spiritual nature of sacred tobacco medicine leads itself to be used in most ceremonies and through non-smoking offer of gratitude. Whether you take a plant from the earth, a stone from the shore, or utilize all parts of the animal that you have hunted, an offering of tobacco is recommended. The exchange of energy that takes place through this offering is done so with sense of reciprocation. The four medicine tobacco, sage, cedar, sweetgrass are essentials, not only because they're historical roots, but because we continue to use them in everyday life and ceremonies. Tobacco is considered the most sacred of the four medicine because it is directed linked to Creator and allows for the door of communication to spiritual worlds be open. The tobacco sacred medicine card is an opportunity to connect or connection um, that is built on reciprocation may soon enter your life. There may be a situation that is mutual benefit for all parties, including where so much can be gained and learned by working together. If there is a significant change taking place in your environment at this time and prayers are required, consider an offering of tobacco to Mother Earth or to sacred fire to assist with your intentions. All right, so that's your message from the wisdom of Elder Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius. So we are starting off with the whirl energy. We probably had maybe some sort of completion, and now we're starting something new. And bringing this energy, sometimes the 10 of Wands energy, um, having those, after celebrating, right? After your accomplishment, sometimes you have to clean up the party. Um, so this 10 of Wands energy is just reminding us that, um, you're having to probably clean up and take responsibility and, but also, um, you're releasing, you're celebrating because maybe you're burning your demons, right? Making your own magic here with the world energy at the very beginning. So you're moving to your moving to your castle, you're moving somewhere. You're going in a direction that, where you want to carry your wands there. And then the energy of the Queen of Cups, trying to have that emotional balance, right? Listening to your intuition, right? The inner fire, having gratitude, giving offer to, you know, having that reciprocalness, um, balance, listening to your intuition. right? Adapting and trusting, you know, you are encouraged with the flicker energy and having that energy of the Queen of Cups. You know, she's kind, she's empathic, she's um has that ability to, be a healer, So connecting to your element, your water, listening to your intuition, right? And then when that happens, the Ten of Cups here. Having that emotional fulfillment, Now you're enjoying your emotions. You're looking at it, because you put it up a certain way. You displayed it, right? Because you're not carrying it anymore. It's not a wand. Put it on the wall, hanging it up, looking at it, celebrating. This is my Ten of Cups, having that emotional balance there. Um, expressing gratitude, right? You lay down your offer, and then the judgment, judge, justice energy coming in here. It's just letting us know that, you're being accountable. You're uh, taking accountable for your actions. You're trying to be fair and just be responsible for what you put in on the scale, right? You put in whatever you worked on, you know, and you're also knowing when to, you know, when when your sword is needed, right? So right now you have the scale here. Your sword is there, but if you need to use it, you have it. Mm. And so when you're trying to find fairness in that, the Five of Cups energy here, you know, you're you don't want to be disappointed, because you work really hard, right? You carried it, you know, enjoyed it, feeling the feelings and being able to find fairness. You're like, now you don't want to be disappointed, and that's okay. Sometimes, when we do that, we just maybe need to nurture it, right? Go give offering you know, to the spiritual beings, have gratitude in that. Look at it from a different perspective, but um also, spirits, letting you know, like, there's hope, you still got some cups there. Hmm. And then the Knight of Wands energy comes in. And the Knight of Wands is, reminding us of that ambitiousness of the world energy. Uh, the um, the Knight of Wands energy is telling us to move forward, right? Um, because you putting your ideas together. Uh, the Knight is the reacting knight, right? He's a one that's the crusader. He's the one that's going to change the ball, the game. Mhm. So you're going to move the energy, and then the Two of Swords energy comes in. You know, um, you're having to, maybe make a choice in the direction that's offering reciprocation is being, right? And then the Knight of Swords coming in, um, you know, having ideas, right? As you can see, the it's really bright, you're illuminating. You finally picked picked the sword, and now you're moving forward with that idea. You're gonna uh, move really fast, so be careful, and learn about the different ways that you can move in the world too with the sword, you know, and then the Five of Cups energy comes in, just reminding us, that, sometimes when we move forward and we have a new idea, it might trigger something, might, um, and here, the feeling, the feeling not disappointed, but, it's highlighting you, this repetition here of having this card, to acknowledge and release past pain, you know. It's important to shift your perspective to recognize the opportunities that support you, the other cups, and so that are still present in your life, and then when you do that, right, the nine of coins, you start looking within yourself and finding that independency, you know, the reward of your hard work, enjoying the watermelon there. Your fruits of labor with this nine of coins, uh, having enough, right? Feeling all right, you know. Uh, so a manifestation after you put down your seed, right? Your offering to spirit. And then the high priestess energy coming in, connecting with your higher shamanistic visions and mending, bringing in that dark attribute, right? And the light attribute. Also, listening to your intuition, um, and just acknowledging, um, maybe letting letting go of some secrets, right? So, however that energy is for you, walking away from, you know, and then the King of Wands here. And the King of Wands energy is the energy of a leader, somebody who's strong, right? Mhm. He's sitting on his lion, ready. His the night here's horse, turned into a lion now, and this King of Wands here energy is this domination, but will also to Sagittarius will act alone. Mm. This King of Wands here, that leadership, the vision, your vision that you have. Sometimes, taking, action on it. And then the Two of Wands, planning, you know, now the Two of Wands is preparing, you know, maybe some sort of partnership between you and your higher self, right? Making a plan, coming to an agreement, right? Of whatever you're trying to let go, walk away, right? The Five of Cups here. Spilling those cups, and maybe it's hard, maybe those are unhealthy addictions, maybe, could be anything, eating, you know, feeling gratitude for yourself, you know, fearing codependency, right? And because the flicker energy is bringing that new rhythm, they're coming into your life now, and they're going to change the energy. So you got to make a plan with yourself. Hmm. You know, maybe those old habits are not working. And so now you have the Nine of Wands energy. You have facing those challenges, right? Mm. Withdrawals, not having to go shopping, putting your phone down, for the day, turning it off, you know, uh, disconnecting to the away from the internet, going for a walk, changing your routine in some way, um, and then taking action, embracing the new sense. When you do that, right? When you change something, when you change your actions, when you change the energy, it's like taking that risk and something change, you feel better, you feel good, because you went for a walk. You took that extra 5 minutes or half an hour and you went for a walk and now you change. And so you're going to uh, have a different perspective on the things going forward, right? And then the Two of Wands here, a repeating card. Um, the Two of Wands is, uh, spirits saying that you're really aligning, right? You're getting planning, aligning. You're really, they're highlighting that you're really aligning to this, uh, to your goals, with maybe long-term vision, right? Maybe you were thinking short-term, right? Maybe you had these short terms and now you changed that perspective, took a risk. And so now it's turned into long-term vision. And then you're taking, you're being active, you're shaping it to your own desire, to your own, you know, your your own rhythm, right? Because you took time. And so when you do that, spirit's highlighting that, and the hermit energy, having to be alone, understanding, what you're going through, feel it, go for a walk and just feel how your body is, like, are you having difficulty walking? Is it hard for you to go outside? Is it hard for you to breathe? Move oxygen? How long have you been inside? Um, are you somebody who, you know, goes to the gym and, like pushes yourself that, and, maybe you need to like just slow down, walk, you know, look at it, change the energy in some way. But being alone, doing something by yourself, um, because sometimes when we're alone, we can feel it. We can feel those feelings that, that sometimes when we go through something, we can help somebody else, because we have understanding. And then the Ten of One energy comes in, you're releasing, burning those demons, making your own magic, you're crushing the skull, right? And then the Knight of Pentacle energy. And the Knight of Pentacle energy, because you went in and had that uh you had that inner wisdom, right? The uh Knight of Pentacles here. You're really being dedicated and trying to have steady progress, right? Look at that energy of the Knight. And so also this energy here is that you're nourishing your accomplishment. You're establishing some sort of security because of the Four of Pentacles. Um, you're avoiding maybe uh, excessive spending, right? Excessive bad habits. You're detaching, becoming more secure. Um, you're When you do that, then the Four of Wands comes in, which is celebrating, you're feeling secure. You're um, examining things deeper, right? And then, you know, the Six of Swords energy comes in and is you're moving forward. You're you're leaving the things, you're realizing, after, you know, giving tobacco to spirit, offering that gratitude, it change everything, sometimes. And sometimes as a Native American, um, if I roll a tobacco and I pray, I know it's going to change dramatically. Sometimes I forget my prayers, like how powerful they are. Mhm. And then you in your story with the high priestess energy, you're coming in union with the divine. You're uh having, those, because what the high priestess up here, we had it up here, you know, sandwich in between the hermit. So maybe exploring and needing to highlight your inner wisdom, right? Exploring hidden truths, maybe also indicating deeper knowledge or secret being revealed in some sort of way, Also just, urging you to connect and with your subconsciousness and embracing the introspection of who you are, as a human being. So that is your story, Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to do your reading. I hope this has inspired you, give you some inspiration, or helped you in your journey in any way. And I just want to say thank you. Hojona has cleaned, Hojona has cleaned, Hojona has cleaned, Hojona has cleaned,